Let's set the stage, okay, first of all. Are there angels with us in this room now?
Of course.
I knew the answer.
I'm always so surprised when people ask that question, because I suppose I assume everyone knows, but everyone doesn't know. Yes, this room is full of unemployed angels and other angels that are giving you a helping hand, as well, as I call them, special angels, teacher angels. And of course your guardian angel is right there, and never mind your brother across there as well.
Now, I've never asked you this, and I always forget, but is my guardian angel opened, or is it, I know you don't see everyone's guardian angel, you see the light of everyone's guardian angel. Is my guardian angel open?
Yes, just as soon as you said it.
Really?
It did that.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to do something.
What would you like to do?
I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. Did my guardian angel just do anything?
Yes.
What did my guardian angel do?
Your guardian angel did a couple of things that time when you did that. How can I describe? It ran its fingers right across your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
It actually put its hand just above yours and done that with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Lorna, that is absolutely amazing, because since I've met you over the last couple of years, I feel like I have a wonderful relationship. At times with my angel, I'm so forgetful still that I have that great advantage that God has given us. But sometimes when something good happens, kind of like a sports thing, I give him a high five, and then we both point up to give praise to God, and I do that, and I wanted to see if you might.
Well, yes, your guardian angel is doing that with you.
I'm just incredibly amazed, and thank you for verifying that.
You're welcome.
You're
welcome.
Well, that's great. Let me, if I may, just get you to comment. There's two things that people who watched the documentary that you were nice enough to work on a year or so ago. One of the things that people, one of the comments is that they still don't understand why an angel, especially our guardian angels, aren't able to intercede for children when something bad would happen to a child. Could you speak to that?
That's a very tough question to answer, and the angels are always telling me that they do interrupt where a child is concerned. They make other adults aware, or even another child aware, that something is wrong. But we have this habit of not listening, and I suppose even my own daughter, Ruth, one day she was in my house and I was busy ironing, because I'm a mom as well, so I'm doing all the normal things, and my guardian angel just said to me, Lorna, your daughter's not listening, where's the baby? You know, and I responded straight away, like, you know, and ran, and of course the baby was halfway up the stairs, she wasn't even walking, and my daughter then said, oh God, Mom, I did hear, but I was too busy peeling the potatoes, doing the vegetable, that I didn't look round. So I would always say to everyone, respond, even if you look over and the child looks fine, still be aware that you were given that conscious thought, you know, and just keep that extra eye on the child. And I know probably part of that question is as well, you know, why do children get sick? And you could say as well, you know, why do adults get sick? We just have this human body, I'm afraid, that's not perfect. And it does get sick. And sometimes it's just so heart-rending when a child gets sick. But I've met many children that got sick and got well again, but I met many children who didn't get well again. And they would say to me, Lorna, will you tell my mom and dad, you know, I'm only going home. Like, I could tell you a lovely story about a young boy. He was 8 years of age, lived here in America somewhere, And the parents contacted me and asked, was the little boy's wish that he would meet me? And I always remember talking to the mom on the phone, and straight away I was told I would never meet this little boy. But the story goes on that, I spoke to the mom and I said, oh yes, I would love to meet him whenever he's well enough or whatever you want to do. But the parents had already plans and had already been arranging to travel to England, to a hospital, or to another country first, then to England. And each time it was to a hospital. And then to Northern Ireland. But when the little boy got to Northern Ireland, I knew he wouldn't get down to myself. Right. So I was talking to the grandmother and the mom and the dad on the phone, and the little boy was giving messages all of the time for me. And one of the things the little boy said was to his mum and dad, to his family, I'm home now.
That's amazing.
And it was only after the death of the little boy that they realised how the boy was meant to make this journey. He was meant to say he wanted to come to see myself. But the real important thing was that he actually got home, even though he was American. But he turned around and he said to them, I'm home now.
And people, like that boy's parents, as hard as it is, as difficult as it is, that still is an opportunity for growth in love for God and an understanding of God's plan for us when we do go through something that difficult.
Yeah, people, what would you say, families, they pray during that time, they ask, they become more aware, that we're not just a body, flesh and blood. We have that soul, that speck of light of God that's inside of us. And that's why I always say to everyone, you have a guardian angel that will never leave you, not even for 1 second of your life, and even goes home to heaven with you, and can never be anyone else's guardian angel. And I think that's lovely, in that way.
I didn't ask you, may I ask you what my guardian angel looks like?
Well, your guardian angel is neither male nor female,
okay.
But it is given a male appearance at the moment.
Okay.
And all as I can say is dressed in, how can I give the colour? It's kind of a little bit of armour in one way. That's the only way I can describe it. But light, right. Not a big heavy.
Right.
And that's probably for yourself. It's a little bit of strength that you need for you.
I think I've been getting a lot of help from my guardian angel, so thank you, guardian angel, right now, because I've been relying on my guardian angel in times of need, and I feel like my angel's coming through for me, giving me good advice, so that's great.
Well, I think that's the important thing when people become aware that they have a guardian angel. And even children, I'm hearing from thousands of children all over the world saying they never knew they had a guardian angel, and what its difference it's making in their schoolwork, even with their friends, if they're getting bullied, just a whole load of things, or even with their parents. They ask the guardian angel to help out. Right. And they would just send you little letters, and they would be telling you, I've made friends now, and I'm happy now, and I call on my guardian angel all of the time.
That's cool.
So it's so important, I think, because the world needs hope. We need something to believe in, and all as I can say to everyone is, your guardian angel is real. Right. It's right there with you. I'm looking at it.
The other thing that I get some comments on, and I firmly believe this is just because they haven't watched the whole documentary, is that I get some comments that, well, why is Lorna praying to angels, and it's really obvious in there, and you make it so clear that it's well, I'll let you explain it, but if you would please.
I don't pray to angels.
Right.
I never have. I know that seems to be something people get mixed up with, and I don't know why, but I do believe that in realizing you have a guardian angel and angels exist, it helps to give people faith, no matter what their beliefs are in the world. It's like the first step. And no, I never pray to an angel. I talk to them and give out to them, and I pray to God and only God. But angels pray with us.
Right.
So we never actually pray alone.
Right.
And I know I gave the Archangel Michael prayer, but the Archangel Michael prayer, when it was written first, when the Archangel Michael gave it to me, I had to remind publishers, and people that the words can't be changed, because they're not the Archangel Michael's words, they're God's words. So you're not praying to Archangel Michael, it's actually God you're praying to.
That's right. And you said in the documentary, you said that it even embarrassed you a bit because the angels told you that it was fine for you to say that it's human beings have that speck of light that's God in us, and that's what makes us so special, even more special than any angel. You put it much better than I just did.
Yeah, when I had written the first book, Angels in My Hair, and people were starting to ask questions, I did feel very embarrassed when they would ask, are angels, do they not have a soul, or are they not more than us? And I would have talked with them on the stage at the same time, and they would say, no, Lorna, you must tell the truth. So angels are creatures created by God, and they were created long, long ago. But you and I can say billions and billions and billions of times more important, more precious to God than any angel ever could be, because you have that speck of light inside of you that is your soul. And again, that's why angels love to be around you. And again, that's why your guardian angel can't leave you. That's one angel that can never leave you at all, no matter what's happening in your life. Some people would say to me, but how could that bad person have a guardian angel? But they have a guardian angel, and that guardian angel is doing everything possible to try and get that person to listen and do the right thing, or not to do that bad thing. And that's one thing to remember. Angels never ask you to be selfish or mean or to hurt another person. That's the human part of us. As I say, sometimes it's the other side. We listen to the other side in that way. I get into trouble all the time when I ask for prayer for different leaders in the world, so that they would listen to their guardian angel and start to do the right things for the people of the world. Just like your new president here now, Trump, I have asked for prayers for him that somehow he will make as many right decisions as possible, that something will happen to pull them together, because he is your president. And American people, you have been gathered from all over the world, by those angels I have written about, American gathering angels. And you are a new nation, a new people, and you are a powerful country. So I'm all the time now saying, please pull it together. Remember, that you are all Americans, regardless of where your descendants came from. You're all Americans now, and that's so important. And I won't give up on you anyway, that's
Good.
for sure.
Good. Well, we need it. I know that you have regular contact with the Archangel Michael and the angel hostess and others. Lorna, at this stage, are there any new angels that may appear to you that maybe have a task for you or anything like that?
Yeah, how would I say this? I have written another book that's going out in April in England and Ireland and Europe. It's called Angels at My Fingertips. It's a sequel to Angels in My Hair. And at the moment, Love from Heaven is just being released in America. And I have to tell you a story about that, because I wrote that book maybe 4 years ago.
Right.
And it has already been in Europe, and it's already published in over 30 languages. But God wouldn't allow me to release it here.
Really?
Yeah, and only now. And now I understand.
Oh, because of the,
Where I didn't understand beforehand, why I was to hold it back.
And it was because of the election and the changes
because
and
of
what
all
we've gone
of
through as a society here.
And just need to, I suppose, have more love and compassion and understanding and pull together as a nation, as one people.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and have that love and understanding, and you know,
Right.
pull the country together back
Absolutely.
together again. And sure, I know you can do that, but that's what amazed me, because I wasn't told of anything that would happen. I was
Right.
just told you can't release it.
Wow.
And then before even your election came up, I was told to offer it to the publishers. And then everything started to happen in America, and I could see why.
Well, we need all the help we can get right now. I think a lot of us feel that way, so thank you for releasing it. So that
You're
was great.
welcome.
Let me move on. That kind of brings me to another aspect of something I just want, and of course, if it's, you may not be able to, because I know there's certain things that you certainly can't talk about, but I know that angels sometimes will give you information or tell you things that either, you know, you can't tell other people at the time, or what I'm wondering is do you know like what God has in store for you maybe 10 years down the road? If I might ask?
How could I answer that question? He doesn't. I've been shown many futures, and in some of them I'm still here. In others I'm not. So I'm always praying and asking for those futures to turn out the best possible in that way. I did have a give out to God and the angels about saying I don't want to know anything of my family, because
Right, sure.
that's really, I already knew enough.
Yeah.
And I already know, you know, some things, but I don't want to know
Right.
any more. And for myself, it depends on the world. It depends on how the world responds. So I'm doing all I can for everybody in the world, but everyone has to play their part as well. They have to help spread the messages, to change things. Like sometimes I might be crossing an airport, or I could be in a hotel, and a young person could walk up to me and just say, hello, you changed my life, you gave me hope, you gave me something to believe in. Or it could be an elderly person. You know, and that's what life is about, to help us all to go forward and realize that we're not just flesh and blood, that we have that spiritual side, that we laugh and snigger at, but yet we're really interested, the supernatural in that way. And we have so many questions to ask about it, but that's what angels are, that is what God is, that is what your soul is, and that's what makes you so human as well. You know, that's, you know, that pure love that's inside of you is your soul, you know, and we have so much more of that love to put out into the world, to change the world, to change us. It's like, you know, I have written on and off in the books about the intertwining of the body and soul, you know, and I believe mankind can get to that stage. But it's like at some stage man took a little left turn instead of a right turn, and we're trying so hard, even with science and everything like that. You know, I got a little bit of a shock one day when I partly heard something. And I said, oh God, that reminds me of the throwback that I had written in another book, where mankind kind of takes control of other human beings by implanting, when children are born, in the brain, implants, you know. And then when I heard something on the radio, they're talking about, you know, implants will be put here, I said, God, we can't go down that road. Well, we can, but it's like, don't take the rights away from a human being. You know, like we have great things where we can give someone a leg and an arm.
Absolutely.
I think technology is brilliant.
Sure.
But I think at points we have to say,
Right.
we can't go that far, because that wouldn't be right.
Sometimes, I think myself, and I've heard other people say it, I think sometimes when you, what I'm trying to get at is, do you ever feel like you're, this may sound nutty, but like vibrating at a higher rate when you're closer to maybe a heavenly plane.
I really don't know how to answer that question because, again, in the new book I've just written at the moment, not Love from Heaven, but there would be information in Love from Heaven, but in the other one, Angels at My Fingertips, I have written something in that.
Okay. Good.
So it'll give some
insight.
answer to it, to that question.
The other thing is that Europe, most countries in Europe, certainly Ireland and England and the Scandinavian countries, and they have taken your message so well. What is going on in America that you're not the most popular person in America right now?
I don't know, but God and the angels have told me I can't give up. I must keep coming back. I must keep on doing my best. I believe one day as well, and it would be great if you did now in that way, because I know it would help each individual. And again, regardless of whether you have any beliefs or not, or whether you're Muslim or Jewish or Catholic or Protestant, or I know there's so many faiths out there. All as I can say, I'd have the doors open for everyone. Like one thing I always love sometimes when I give a talk, and the audience could be, mixed of all faiths and none. And you might get a rabbi will stand up, or it could be an imam, or it could be a priest, or of somebody, a minister of another faith. And they always say the same words, which fascinate me. They say, Lorna, we love the way you talk about angels, but you bring God nice and quietly into it. And that gives us permission to be here. So in a way, God has given permission for everyone to come forward, because one of the futures I have been shown, and I think I have written part of it in Angels in My Hair and another in the other books, is where all faiths come together and none.
I get more comments because you did relate that is one of the possible futures, in the documentary, and so many people, will write on the bottom in their comments, how that brings them to tears, and I think so many people, hope that's the what comes to be.
Well, I believe it is, but I know it's money and power that's doing everything to control people in the world, even governments and businesses and all of that. But the angels are working hard, and God is working hard, and just to think about it, that God created life, the universe, so it's massive. We couldn't even imagine, but for some unknown reason, He fell in love with us human beings that must have looked like little devils, and He just saw something in us, and He gave us then that spark, that speck of light of Himself. It's actually a piece of God. I don't know if people understand that. If you could take a little piece of yourself and put it into every human being, regardless. And again, that is what is wonderful. You don't even have to know about God to have Him inside of you.
Right.
I think that is incredible. I don't know how come He fell in love with this.
I know that, and we've discussed this a little bit in the past, but because sometimes the angels will take your soul to heaven, you've related, and you also were close to death once, and you went to heaven. Would you describe heaven as a place, a state of mind? What would you describe heaven as?
No one has really asked me that question in that detail. In one sense, I can't say it's a place. It's like it's beyond anything we humanly could comprehend within our own mind, or even within science. It's all beyond that. But yet, in one sense, God gives us the sense of that it's a place, because that's the only way we can relate to it. because we can't see beyond that. But all I can say, it's beyond that. That's just my experience. And when your soul goes to heaven, you don't want to come back. You know, you just don't. Once you have got there, you don't want to come back. There's no way. And I believe that everybody that dies goes to heaven, because I have never seen God sending a soul anywhere else. And I always pray no one ever does.
That's great. Do you know, and I don't know if, how about the concept of purgatory? Do you have any comment on that?
I haven't been allowed to write about that.
Okay.
But the only thing I could say is sometimes when I would ask the angels a question and I would be on that, what I call stairways to heaven, and the angels are carrying souls and loving souls, I kind of believe that, even though they haven't confirmed it,
Right.
that's what we call,
Right.
but it's not purgatory. It's like as if purgatory doesn't exist. It's like as if that is something that man has done, you know, for us to be cleansed. But at that moment of death, you know
Yeah.
God is real.
Right.
You see the angels. You see your loved ones that have gone before you.
Right.
And if you have done anything wrong in this world, it's like within that human split second, you've already said sorry.
Yeah.
You know, God wants every guardian angel to take his child back home to heaven. And God has never shown me that he cares whether that child, you know, broke all the delf or was mean or greedy. You know, when that child goes to heaven, or that person, that soul, it's completely different. It's like it's already wiped away. It's already cleansed. But I think in this world we have to try and, what's that word? You know, when we do something wrong, we have to try and correct it
Sure.
if we can.
Mm-hmm.
Now sometimes you can't, because you can't change something.
Mm-hmm.
But you can change the way you live then. You can become a more loving and kinder person. You can have that bit of compassion instead of, I know in the world today there's so little, that word I can't pronounce very well, empathy.
Empathy, yes. Mm-hmm.
People have kind of put it in a box
Yeah.
and put big chains around it and, you know, don't want to love or care for anyone or have compassion or understanding. We're going to get nowhere if we don't bring back in compassion and understanding and love. That big word, and we have been teaching children not to have it either.
What about the few that I understand when they pass for whatever reason seem to be stuck on the earth plane? I don't really understand that. Do you have any comments on that?
Lots of the time that doesn't happen. That's a huge question now you've asked, and I'm asking the angels, which section of it should I go
Sure.
into? Most of the time, a soul passes straight away. No problem whatsoever. But at the same moment, it can be back here as well, just comforting the loved ones in that way. But sometimes, I always remember meeting the soul of this young man, you know, that had been in an accident on a motorbike, and it was a long time ago, years ago, and he was already in heaven. His guardian angel was there with them, but he was kind of a little bit, you know, could God not have could I not have, you know, gone up the mountains on my bike or something like that, you know, and this soul was laughing at the idea and saying, well, I know my parents are fine and all of that. We'd often see a soul come to visit and they would, you know, smile and laugh and look at life. And then sometimes you would see that soul maybe being called to maybe a friend when that person was alive to help to guide them, because sometimes we listen to the soul of a loved one because we feel the presence of them more than we would the angel, because we haven't opened up enough in that way. And sometimes The other side does a lot of fooling. And we love the other side, so the other side does a lot of that. But again, another time, sometimes if there's going to be a lot of murder or a lot of war and hate, sometimes souls come back. God sends them back and allows people to feel the presence. We can't let that happen again.
Right.
We've got to stand up and be counted, and we've got to pray. And that's happening in the world today.
So just so people understand, if people lose a loved one, that loved one isn't out of their life. That loved one can still has that relationship with that person,
Yeah.
even though they're in heaven.
Yes, all of the time. Like, sometimes maybe you're grieving too much and you don't feel the presence, or you don't recognize the signs they're giving you, the little trinkets, that would remind you, just like your parents. And sometimes it could be maybe a friend that would turn around to you and say, well, I can feel the presence of your mom or your dad, and you're saying, but I can't.
Right.
But it's because you're blocking it out.
Right.
They're right there. And gradually you do. Gradually a thought comes in, and that's your loved ones giving you a thought. That's your loved ones maybe when you're stressed over a job or something you're doing, and your parents or your brother or sister could have died 10 years ago, or your best friend, and suddenly out of the blue you're thinking of them and you're in this stressful situation. Well, that's them helping you to calm down. It's okay, you'll get through this. Look at it once more, and you can be sure the angels are surrounding them as well at the same time. So your loved one comes and goes, but yet it's in heaven. And sometimes we could say, I could feel my loved one all day around me. But for your loved one, it's really like only a second in human terms.
Right. At times, in some of your other books, you've mentioned that, you might be taking a walk, and sometimes if the angels want to communicate a certain way with you, sometimes it may seem like things just kind of freeze, go into a still frame. Has that happened to you lately, or?
My life hasn't changed. And I suppose when my publisher had asked me, when are you going to write another book? And I said, actually, I'm going to write one now. And of course, that's Angels at My Fingertips. That's a miracle how that book got written.
Really?
And how I managed to write it in a year. I literally don't know myself, because I was so busy and so much was going on. And when my daughter, who edits the book for me, rang me one day when I had finished the manuscript, and she said to me, do you want to hear the list of all of what you have written put into that book? And I was shocked. I said, did I write all of that? And she said, your editor, Mark, as well, your publisher, has been on. He says, wow. I couldn't believe it myself. And I was sick even at one stage as well. So I actually don't know, but if you have faith, God helps you all of the time. God is there. It's like everything in your life leads to God, and in that way leads you down the right path. And it is to ask for help. And sometimes I'd say to people, somebody would say to me, but why didn't such and such work out for me? And sometimes we're only to experience it, but you're meant to let it go. But sometimes because of our human pride, we say, no, I'm going to keep going forward and going forward. And then we're stressing ourselves out more. Like, we've so many, what some people call destinies or paths in life. We've so many of them. And we should go down them and just say, here, I'm going to go down this one and just enjoy. And then when I feel I don't have to prove anything, I think that's maybe one thing people do. They feel they have to prove something. But you don't need to prove anything.
what's an easy way for someone that maybe is just seeing this or hasn't really thought about having a guardian angel? What's one of the easiest ways or first ways, things they can do to try to acknowledge or get a relationship with their guardian
Well,
angel?
I would say to them, say to themselves, what have I got to lose? You have nothing to lose.
Right.
And when you open your eyes in the morning, just say, good morning, my guardian angel. And you could do that, for months and months and months, and then you could turn around and say, well, any chance of me understanding what your name might be? And I know your guardian angel was probably telling you its name from the time you said good morning. But the most popular name is my guardian angel. But your angel could give you any name. It could even be good morning. And it's only part of its name. It's only a tiny fraction of it. But a lot of adults think it should be, this incredible fancy name, It could be Johnny or it could be anything.
And actually, I think of my guardian angel as my best friend in a lot of ways now. And I think, and a best friend that has a sense of humor too. And I think that's important, right? I mean,
That is
you don't have to
very,
be serious all the time, right?
No, sure. Angels have a great sense of humor, and that's what you have to remember. And they do loads of things to help you to feel happy, to cheer you up when you're down. They even allow people to pass you by and make a funny face at you.
Right.
That's your guardian angel up to
Yeah.
antics in that way. That's important. That's one thing children, as soon as they know about their guardian angel and that they have one, it becomes their best friend. They share literally everything with their guardian angel, and in sharing everything, it's like as if things are sorted out for them. They, adults start to listen, they get more confidence, the child does, and belief in themselves, and they know they're not alone, and they can do this. I can try. I can tell Daddy and Mommy, even if they don't believe me anyway. It is just to make that relationship. Your guardian angel already has a relationship with you. It's just for you to respond. That is all.
Do guardian angels ever get frustrated with us that we just don't listen?
No, I have never seen a guardian angel get frustrated, annoyed, angry.
They have the patience
They have.
of a guardian angel.
Exactly, and they love us unconditionally. It's like if your guardian angel was telling you, no, don't empty that bottle of water out on the floor. That's wrong, don't do it. And you do it. It still loves you unconditionally. It's okay. So they don't get angry or disappointed with you or in any way. They just love you unconditionally, and they won't give up on you, ever.
And we have a relationship with our guardian angel before we're born, is that right?
Yes, yeah. Your soul, before you were even conceived, met your guardian angel in heaven, and you stood in front of God with your guardian angel. And to me, that's an incredible thing. Like the time my soul was taken to heaven to see this, I call it the Sea of Souls. There was just so many souls to be born. And just that one guardian angel that was, what would you say, weaving through these seas of souls, on its way. And then when it got closer, you could see the soul responding.
Really?
It was just so incredible. And then to see that soul and the guardian angel stand in front of God, and God telling the guardian angel, to take care of the soul and to bring it back home to heaven. That's its most important job, is to bring you back home.
I don't think I've asked you this before, but do we have input before we're born into? I know you said that we know who our parents are going to be. Do we have input into what kind of a life we want to choose on Earth at all?
I never asked it in that way. It's like God talks to the soul about it, and then that parents are chosen, whether it's one parent or both parents, and your soul knew everything before you were conceived, and you loved your parents unconditionally. Even if they were the worst parents in the world, you still loved them unconditionally, you know, and you still chose them. But you have to remember, a parent still has the opportunity to change.
Yeah.
You still have that freedom to do so. It was like a woman I met in prison, and she said no way could she have chosen her mom or dad. You know, that her dad was an alcoholic and her mom was a drug addict, and they used to burn the cigarettes. She showed the marks on her arms as a little child, and herself ended up in prison. And she says, I couldn't have loved my parents unconditionally. How could I have accepted them? And all I could say to her is, you did, and you love them. And she says, no, I don't love them. How? You know, she said, I hate them. But the amazing thing was, when I went back to that prison, I think it was a year later, I hardly recognized the woman. She had read the book Angels in My Hair, and she realized she did love her mom. Her dad had died. She did love her mom. And she became young-looking again. Because the first time when I met her in the prison, she was so full of anger and hate and wanting revenge that she looked like an old woman. Yeah. I thought she was about 60.
Sure.
But an old 60,
right.
You know what I mean, in that way. And when I went back, God, this looked like 35-year-old. She looked beautiful.
Wow.
So you see what love can do. It changes everything.
Do we, once we're done on earth and our guardian angel escorts our souls back to heaven, do you know, do we have an opportunity to go other places or do other things, or once we're in heaven,
it depends really on what you mean when you say that.
Okay.
Like, you're thinking in human terms.
Yeah.
Do we have the opportunity to come back, to be born again? To do other things, you're thinking humanly in that way. And that leads into the question of incarnation, is it? Reincarnation.
Yes.
And that seldom happens. Because if it was happening every day of the week, I would see it.
Sure.
So it seldom happens. Well, if I can say one thing to you, and that is, when you do die and your soul goes to heaven, you don't want to come back,
right.
Not even for your loved ones.
Right.
You know, and people find that incredible. But there's so much peace and love, and it's, you know, the little bit, I would have to say, that God has shown me is incredible. It's nothing like our world, but yet God will have things in it that would represent the world here today. So you accept it. So I can tell the story in that way. But when you go to heaven, it's beyond anything. You want to stay, like, you don't want to come back.
I wasn't really thinking in terms of reincarnation on Earth. I was thinking more in terms of maybe to another plane or another something, you know, some other learning experience or something like that.
Well, it's something I haven't written about, you know, and I was thinking of writing about it maybe in another book, give a little bit. There's so much I have to write about. I keep saying to God, I'm never going to get the chance in this life, you know, how is it going to happen? Because you have me traveling all over the world and not having the time. But yet I did get Angels at My Fingertips written so quickly. But to me now, the important thing is Love from Heaven, and that I was allowed to publish it here in America. And I can see why. Because when I was over here in November, there was so much anger, so much hate from everybody, you know, and somehow that has to be mellowed. in that way, you know, and bring the people together and listen, I love you all. I don't hate you.
Right.
And I think that's what, there's so much fear, you know, and, you know, bring love into it, and it will destroy that fear, and it will help. Love helps you to be happier, peaceful, but one important thing that it helps to do, and that is for you to see ahead of you, to see what's next, to see what you can do, and because you can see more clearly. In that way, you can see the hope, you can see the light, and I think there is great hope for the world, even though people are saying there couldn't be.
Good.
And I know we have to look after our planet too, and I know we're fighting over that, and we just have to tell those in power to be, who have the power, who have the money, that life is not all about money. It's not all about material things, because if you take away, you know, or put their life in danger, material things don't matter.
Right.
And we need to grow spiritually, because I've been shown just so many wonderful things of the future if we start to turn in the right direction with love and compassion, with understanding, with accepting that we're not just flesh and blood, that we are a spiritual being as well, and allowing that to intertwine. And seeing our planet all being healed, you know, and yes, even being able to go to others, but we're different. We're not full of anger and hate. We're not ones for taking and destroying as we are today. You know, but I know there's lots of good things out there, like lots of good people out there.
If we managed to do that, and really, you know, there was a real sea change of love, and people, you know, really made that change, would we be a lot closer to the way heaven is here on earth?
Yeah, I have written a little bit about that in one of the books I've written, and I call it A Glimpse of Heaven. We make this world like a little glimpse of heaven. And just to see children, like, you know, the way with technology, we think technology is everything. But we don't actually need technology to do all of that.
Right.
We can do it ourselves.
Right.
But again, that's the intertwining of the body and soul, the spiritual side. It's like the children don't need a bridge. You don't need all those bridges out there to cross the river. They just walk across, you know, which, you know, we have such potential.
Right.
But yet, humanly, we think life is about money, and there is the big business people and our governments, and they think the same, and that's why I do ask, we must pray for them too, that they will start to see. And even the scientists, you know, I have met a few of them, and, you know, they would say, you know, you're perfectly right, but we can't go along and say that. They would lose their jobs, their credibility, and you don't want to take away someone's livelihood. Because everyone needs a livelihood, everyone needs a job, and I think that's what the angels keep saying, you know, pray and ask that governments and leaders of the world, presidents, will allow everyone to have their dignity, everyone to have a job, earn their living, raise their family, look after nature, you know, do have all the normal right things that are, they're really priceless. You know, but we have to start to head in that direction. And I suppose that's one job the angels have me doing, God has me doing, you know.
That's a tough job,
I get into trouble all of the time, you know. I get given out to, how dare you say that, or how dare you go. Sometimes even, you know, I might go and speak in a church, and I might be ridiculed over it. How dare you have gone and spoke in that church? But listen, I'll speak anywhere.
That's right, yeah.
You know, because again, if you're giving hope, and, you know, people of all ages are realizing they have a guardian angel, and it's changing their lives, and for them personally, in everything they do. and more people are standing up to be counted if something is wrong in their neighborhood or in their county. I don't know what way you have it here in America. Or, they're having a referendum and people are saying, well, I don't think that is right, so I'm going to vote no. And others might say, I think it's right and I'll vote yes. But the freedom of choice, I think, is important.
And sometimes I think if there is one advantage one of the very few advantages is that sometimes I think when people see such gross selfishness, it does move them, I think, to really move to action, to realize that, hey, this isn't the life we need to be here. And, hopefully that will help people to vote in the right people and, kind of protect what we should be protecting.
And go in the right direction.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, no, I do believe sometimes when people do recognize that, and that's people all over the world, that something is too selfish or too greedy. I do know sometimes those that have the power and the money, they're afraid they will lose it. But, if you share a bit more, and that's all they need to do is share a bit more. Because you can't take any of that material wealth with you.
Right.
You go naked.
Right.
So we need to share a little bit more. And I know a lot of people would say, well, I want to leave it to my family, the next generation. And so therefore I live forever. But
that's kind of
you have to share.
Yeah.
And we need to share a bit more. It's like those that have less need to have more. They need to have their dignity. They need to have a decent home, a job, an education, laughter, fun.
When are we going to see the Lorna Byrne story on the big screen? Because that's what we need in America, because we need movies. That's what we watch.
Well, all of the time I'm putting out as much as I can, to have Angels in My Hair made into a movie. I know there's more than one movie there, because even in Angels at My Fingertips, I'm sharing so many new secrets, even some of my own guardian angel, not its name, but some of the things my guardian angel taught me as a child or played with me. And I didn't realize why my guardian angel was teaching me these things. It's for everyone else in the world to become or make that contact more clearly and feel the presence of the guardian angel.
Yeah. That's an amazing gift that you're giving people that your angels have given you. So that's just incredible. What didn't I ask you that you want to tell people in America, or anything that I didn't ask you that you wished I asked you?
Well, for me personally, and I know all of the angels, love from heaven, it has come out at the time when everyone needs it in America. And I mean everyone. That's from the homeless person right up to those that are very wealthy or they feel they have the best job in the world, to the nurse, to the cook, to the street sweeper. You just need more love and to realize where love comes from and that it's inside each and every one of you in abundance, and it can't be diminished or destroyed. It's there. And stop locking it away and turn this country into a beautiful country, a powerful country as it is, but it's kind of unbalanced now. And remember, you were brought here a long, long time ago. And I know you have the Native American here as well. And you need to just come together in that love and sort out all the issues and the problems and start to smile again. Hold your head high. Be proud. I love coming to America, and yet God has never had an American gathering angel bring me here in that way. But yet I do have family here. I have a sister here, and she has a child, and I have cousins that came here a couple of generations back, which I never knew. So God was already working on it.
That's great.
In that way. So the world is looking in at America.
Mm-hmm.
And I know America seldom looks out, but you have a huge part to play in the future of mankind. So I'm doing my best.
Yeah, I know you are. I know you are.
So all as I can say is
Yeah.
somehow spread the message. You know, I'm coming back over again in March on the 25th.
Good.
I'm giving a talk.
Good.
And I'm going to come over again and other times
Good.
through the year. So I can't do it on my own,
Right.
so I am asking
Right.
the people of America to
Right.
do it as well.
Right.
As you said, how come you're not known bigger?
Mm.
So,
It's,
and you're doing all you can,
I'm
Ted.
gonna,
You've
well,
been
I can
brilliant.
do more. I'm going to try to do more. I'm going to come up with. We're going to work it out. We're going to figure out a way to get a few more people on board with this. I promise. Guys, what didn't I ask Lorna that you would like to ask? Jawari?
Well, mine is more personal. Please, could you tell me about my guardian angel?
Yes, your guardian angel is right there behind you, and again does give a male appearance, but it is neither male nor female. But it is dressed exquisitely, if I'm pronouncing it.
Exquisitely, yes. That would be good fun.
And it'll be very hard for me to describe, but it's like the clothing of your guardian angel is like as if it's all in pieces, but it's kind of like a fee, each piece. But the colour, how can I describe the colour? It is so many different shades of green, like, and they shine, they sparkle, but there's other colours within them. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm not giving it any, I'm not even describing close at all. Just beautiful, and I have to smile at your guardian angel because it's looking down at you and sometimes blowing on your head. And how can I say this? Has long hair.
Okay.
Well, today has long hair.
Yeah.
I don't know about later on, but today it has.
Is there any way I can communicate with my guardian angel?
You are already. Just ask. Just become conscious of it. Just say hello and ask for your guardian angel to give you a helping hand. And it's like if your guardian angel said to you, you know, pick up this glass of water, but you're saying to yourself, I don't want a glass of water. Why should I bother? Or you say to yourself, you know, oh, you're lazy, you're tired. Just go and pick it up because it's teaching you to respond. That's all.
Thank
You don't actually need it.
Thank
So that when something else comes along that's important for you and you ask, you respond, you go left when you're meant to go left and not right just because everyone else was telling you.
Thank you so much.
Okay?